Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be doing our August native plant garden tour. We got lots of things in bloom right now. Our coreopsis just won't stop. We've still got some lovely obedient plant here, and some things are actually just starting to set seed, which we will harvest in a few weeks. So I'll get right to the videos now. Thank you so much for watching. Here is my obedient plant, and it is looking great. We've got lots of lovely blooms. We've had blooms for a few weeks now, and we'll probably get a few weeks out of it still. And I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but we've got tons of pollinator action on this plant. There are a bunch of bees. There's always a ton of bees and all sorts of critters that I pretty much learn along the way. Some beetles come and visit this guy. I'm pretty sure that over here is a sleeping bumblebee. Here's a little close-up of one of the critters that's visiting my plant right now. I'm not sure what this guy is. Do you know what he is? Leave a comment below and we can all learn. I'll see if I can find a couple more pollinators for you guys too. So just as we're here right now, I've got, I don't know, 6 different types of bees. Here's a bumblebee. What do we have over here? Is that a honeybee? I think so. More bees down here. Oh, what's that little guy? Who knows? Tons of action. And so as the plant develops, the blooms come from the base of the plant and then they go right to the tip. So you can see here, these ones have started at the base and they're coming to the top. And then after they've done blooming, here's a good look in there, they start to develop their seeds in these little seed pods. And each seed pod will have about, I can't remember exactly, but 4 to 6 seeds. And then they'll sit in there and then they'll get all dry and crispy and then you can harvest them. Or you can leave them. You can leave them for the birds. You can leave them for the critters. And then they will drop to the ground and then you might get tons of obedient plant, which might be perfect for you, but not awesome for everybody, right? So if you want to maintain this plant and don't want it to go bonkers, then deadheading it is an option after the flowers fall past. Here's our swamp milkweed. It's about 4 feet tall or so, and it didn't bloom this year. I really don't think I'm expecting any blooms at all this year. It doesn't look like there's any evidence of flowers coming along over here, but that is okay. We've got some blooms in our swamp milkweed in the boulevard garden. So this guy, maybe he's just taking a little bit of time. Fingers crossed for some blossoms next year. Over here beside the swamp milkweed, we've got our pale purple coneflower. Now I had 3 of these plants, all from Reap Green Solutions, and this one is clearly really happy. It just was super floppy. So I got this little stand thingy here to help support this plant. So it's standing up, but it still looks a little wonky. So not sure if this is the best place for this plant on my property. However, this is where it's happiest. So the other 2 that I have in the shadier garden are not even coming close to blooming, even though they're the same batch or the same little group that I got. So who knows? But either way, we've got some seeds forming over here on this guy. And we've got a little bit of a bloom left back there. And I think the rest have all kind of passed. So we'll leave these for the birds and we'll collect some too so we can share with others. Over here we have our wee little paper birch tree. It's only about 3-4 feet tall right now, and it grew lots of leaves this year, and I thought it was really happy. However, as you can see down here, it's got kind of crispy edges on some of these leaves and they're all turning kind of yellow. So I'm a little concerned about this. If you know what's going on, please let me know if there's anything I can do to kind of rectify this, or maybe it's just jumping in early for fall. Fingers crossed, because I really want this tree to develop nicely here. I think it'll be a nice addition to our backyard. So in the back of this garden over here, we've got our American bellflower. And this plant is just a wee thing because I grew it last fall from seed. And so now this year, I don't really expect it to get much bigger than this, but next year, fingers crossed, it may get as big as 5 or 6 feet tall. So fingers crossed it will set himself a happy little home here, and that next year we'll get some awesome blooms and we'll get some great height at the back of the garden here, right in front of the creek. Over here in kind of our part shade garden beside our sedum and beside our phlox that are finishing right now, this is our Columbine plant. And so this is all past and the seeds have been setting in these little seed pods here. And if you take a peek in here, I think they've all pretty much spilled to the ground. So I think these are all gone. I did collect some from the Columbine in my front yard. So if this dropped these seeds all in here and we got a whole bunch of Columbine, then all the better, because this is a beautiful plant. I love the very, very unique flowers that we get earlier in the year. Here's my heartleaf foamflower, which apparently has a new name in Canada. It's now called creeping foamflower, or Tiarella stolonifera. So I need to update my little sign here and get some more info about that. But I do have to say that I don't know. I'm not quite sure that this guy is happy in my gardens. This year, it has had pretty much the perfect conditions. It's been really rainy, not too dry, and this is about as wet as it's going to get in this kind of part shade garden, and it's still not looking too pleased. So, I mean, it's green and it's looking okay, but it's not spreading quickly. And look at, you can see all these leaves are kind of looking kind of haggard, really. So how is it growing in your gardens? Is it growing well in your suburban gardens, or what is making it happy? So if you have any tips for me, please leave some comments in the comment section below. I'd love to learn from you. Over here, a little bit of ways from the foamflower, we've got our marginal fern, and this is doing great. Look how happy it is. This is a fern that can handle a little bit more of the drier conditions, and I consider it rescued from our cottage area where it tends to get mowed. So I've got a couple more too, and they're all doing great. So an awesome plant for the shady garden, and something a little bit more different and native as compared to the hostas that we've got here. We're in one of our 2 boulevard gardens right now, and this is our prairie smoke. Looking awesome, nice and healthy and green. Flowers passed a long time ago, so this is what it'll look like for the rest of the season. Here's our ever-blooming lanceleaf coreopsis. This thing just doesn't want to stop. We've had blooms for a long time now, and we're still getting some. Look, this one has passed, so this is what it looks like when it has passed. This one is making seeds. This is when the blooms have passed and we've let it go kind of dry and crispy. So we've got some seeds in here. Let's see what we can find. Oh, there's one. So we can let them just be eaten up by the birds, let them fall. There's the seeds. Or I might collect some of them and share with others. And then down here, we've got a new bud forming. And then here is the beautiful yellow bloom right here. So tons of gorgeous flowers. Definitely recommend this. And this is doing great in the dry, kind of sunny boulevard garden, and no complaints here. Over here in our boulevard garden as well, we've got our wild blue lupin, and it's getting gobbled up by stuff. I think this might be the earwigs that we had a problem with a little while ago, or who knows what. I'm not sure. But all I know is that I did tell everybody that I was going to try my best to collect these seeds. And look, clearly I have failed. I let them all dry up, and when they dry up, they unfurl like this, and then they fall to the ground. Some other plants, they will hold their little seeds for you, and then you can collect them as you want. But these, there's a time limit here. You got to catch them before they fall, and these have definitely fallen. So I'm fine with that. They've all gone to the ground. Maybe they'll get eaten up, or maybe we'll have a ton more blue lupins in this part of the garden, and that would be fine for me as well. But next year, I swear I'm going to collect these seeds so I can share them with others. Over here in our other boulevard garden, we've got our common milkweed here, and then a rogue swamp milkweed. The common milkweed did not flower this season. Hopefully next year. The milkweed, or the swamp milkweed, did flower, and we've got some seed pods here. So very cool. We're going to let these guys dry out, and when they go brown and crispy and crack open a bit, but before the seeds fly away, we're going to collect them so that we can do some fall or winter sowing and share them with others. Over here is my eastern prickly pear cactus, and it's doing really, really great. Despite me naming it incorrectly, it didn't seem to mind that too much. I have been informed that this is the incorrect Latin name, so I'm going to update that and fix my little sign here. But yeah, the plant is doing well. It's got lots of new pads here. These are new pads, and these guys are new pads this season, so it's clearly doing well. I've got one down here in the garden, and then I've got one in this rock here. And I've said I'm going to move it, but frankly, I haven't tried yet, but I am going to try because, I mean, probably needs more space than that, but even still, it's growing really well. So who knows? Maybe I'll move it before the end of the season, or maybe that will be a next year thing. We will see. Either way, it's happy in this boulevard garden. So over here, kind of in front of this log right here, and to the right of it, is our little blue stem plant. And this is such a favorite plant of mine. It looks so nice with its frosty foliage, and then it goes kind of rosy in the fall. So very, very fun plant to add texture and unique colors to the garden. But I have noticed that this guy's kind of flopping over a bit. So I'm not sure what's going on. Both of them kind of are. We've had lots of water, which is kind of different for this year. So maybe they've had too much water. They are setting seed, so they must be happy enough. But anyhow, fingers crossed they're going to do okay over the fall and into next season, because I definitely want this one to stick around. In this pot here, we have our Michigan lily. I grew this from seed this year, and it's doing awesome. I moved it into a bigger pot because this was the only survivor of the seeds that I sowed, and very, very happy. I'm hoping that we can establish this plant and have those beautiful, beautiful flowers growing. Perhaps maybe, who knows, it might take a year or two to get flowers on that, but I can be patient sometimes. Over here we've got our golden Alexanders, and we have a couple seeds forming. So very exciting. We want more and more of this. So we had 2 transplants, and now maybe we can get some more. So I will put some of these into the garden to let them fall, but I'm going to steal a few of them, even just 5 or so, just to try the winter sowing. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I have not had a lot of success with just putting seeds down and letting them do their thing. I don't know if they get nibbled up or what, but I will steal a few to do some winter sowing as well. So we have our black raspberries here, and we got a couple new ones from Ontario Native Plants. If you still want them, there's still some available. So take a look on my Instagram and you might be able to get a discount code that I got. So they're very happy. We're going to move the ones that are kind of farther back here to have a little bit more of a bunch. We did have our blueberries here as well, but they got fried, so we had to move them to a different location. So this will be our black raspberry patch. And then over here, we've got our serviceberry. He's looking kind of angry. I don't know if the bunnies have got him or what, but fingers crossed he can do happy after next season as well. But we got a bigger one I'll take you to in a minute. Here is our bigger serviceberry, and this one I think is going to be happier because it gets a lot more water here that comes down from the rain barrel over there and overhead as well. So I have 4 serviceberries, and if one of them survives, I'll be happy. So here is our Solomon seal, and I was under the impression that to determine if this is native or non-native, the only thing you could do was do a DNA test. But I was told recently that if I have numerous blooms, which you can kind of see evidence of down under here, I had lots of blooms all on the same little stem here, that was indicative that it was not native. So I'd love to hear from others as well, if this is a way to determine if this is native or not native. I do want to know because I've been telling everybody to get this. But either way, I mean, if you're looking for the native variety to begin with, then you're good to go. But I did receive this from a friend, so sometimes you're not quite sure what exact variety you're getting when you're getting transplants. Here's our Canada anemone in our kind of shady garden here. We've got some of the darker ones are the older ones, and then these ones here are the ones that I fall sowed last year, and so they're newer. This is their first year, and so we had the darker ones had blooms and the younger ones did not. But either way, they're kind of establishing themselves in this part of the garden. And we actually transplanted them from over here, but apparently I didn't take them all because I've got lots over here as well. So whatever, that's fine. Maybe they'll connect the dots and kind of blend together over time. Either way, these are gorgeous spring blooming flowers that I would definitely recommend. Here's our new shade garden. Everything here is new this year, either from transplants or from Reap Green Solutions, Ontario Native Plants. And that's pretty much it. So we've got some woodland strawberry down here, and it's doing great. Look at all the runners. There's tons of runners already, and it's going to be an awesome ground cover for the front of the garden. At the back, we've got some bottlebrush grass, which is growing nicely, and you can see that it's starting to bloom, which looks awesome. And then we've got a Christmas fern over here, and then back over to the middle, a bush honeysuckle, which is a host plant for the clearwing hawk moth. awesome little creature, which I'm hoping will come to my garden now. We've got some zigzag goldenrod here. It's starting to bloom. Look, we've got some little blooms starting on this plant. Awesome, which, you know, you're never sure if you're gonna get blooms the first year that you plant something. So this is awesome that we've already got some things already in bloom. We've got some large leaf aster here. These two are not blooming. Not quite sure why they're not as happy as this one, but either way, we'll get some seeds from that. Maybe we can make even more. We've got some lady fern in the back here and some trillium as well. And then itsy bitsy ones. I fall sowed some jack in the pulpit. So we've got some tiny jack in the pulpit over here and some more. Where are they? Over here as well. So hopefully we'll get that in this part of the garden. And then one more little guy up here. This is our very sad looking, but still alive chokecherry. So fingers crossed this is kind of establishing itself underground because we transplanted it. It looked really, really mad. But now, I mean, there's green, so there's hope. And then in the back, I just wanted to say, what do you think? What do you think about these logs here? I put them here to kind of distract. I like to toss like old sticks and stuff at the back there. And I thought this would be a good distraction so it didn't just look like a mess before the rest of this kind of all fills in. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Here is our New England Aster, and it's looking so lush. Look at, there's tons and tons of flowers starting. Oh my goodness. This is gonna look amazing in a couple of weeks, filled with those purple, beautiful flowers with the kind of golden centers. I'm very, very excited. So I did the Chelsea chop in the springtime to kind of make it become more bushy, and I'm pretty happy with this. This is only about 4 feet tall this year, where last year it went a bit more like 5 or 6 feet tall, and it was a little bit more leggy. So this is looking great. Definitely would recommend the Chelsea chop if you want to kind of make your plants be a little bit more bushy and less tall and leggy. Then this is definitely the way to go. Over here we have our butterfly weed. Now I've talked about this in the past. It's getting way more shade from this sand cherry here than I would like it to, but I have been encouraged to potentially try to transplant this fall. It has a long tap root, which can be tricky when transplanting. So I'm not sure if I have the guts to do it, but I will be chopping this back so that we have a little bit more sun on this guy. But either way, look, we've got some seeds coming. So these are the seed pods here, and they stand up nice and tall. And then once they get all brown and crispy and start to kind of crack open a bit, then you can capture them, and then you can put them where you want, or you can fall sow them or winter sow them, share them with friends. But if you leave them, they will go flying. So just something to keep in mind. I consider that a gift to my neighbors, but not all neighbors feel the same. Here is our massive Canada goldenrod. So this is humongous. This is probably 8 feet, maybe 7 feet tall, and apparently it's quite aggressive. So just be forewarned. This was a volunteer in my yard. I let it do its thing last year, and I got a million zillion goldenrod babies. So this year I'm gonna let it go to bloom, and then after it blooms and we get all those awesome and very different and cool creatures. We found so many new creatures last year on this plant. After that's all done, then I'll deadhead it, chop it all back. And then if it comes back again next year, awesome. But that way I don't have so many volunteers in my garden, and probably my neighbors do. Here's my wee little red bud. Is this not the cutest thing? It's probably only about 1.5 feet tall. You can see that they have these beautiful heart-shaped leaves, and then they have the most gorgeous pink flowers that bloom all across the stem of this plant in the springtime. And apparently they're edible too. So I know it probably won't bloom for me for a while, but I will wait for this one to get a little bit bigger. Here we have our Columbine. The flowers have spent a long time ago, but look, it's starting to go kind of a burgundy color, and even this bright pink color at the front as well. Kind of pretty. I'm not sure if this is a fall behavior or if something's wrong. So if you know that something is wrong, please let me know. But you can see too, we've got these seed heads here. And so they've developed their seeds. I've collected some, but I've left these for the birds or the critters or whatever. If they fall, that's fine too. But if you tip them, then the seeds will fall. But these ones are the kind of seed pods that will let you kind of leave them there until they're ready to fall. So unlike the lupins, which if you don't go catch them, they're going down real quick. So this is not exactly the best part of the tour because you can see some of the branches from a big branch of walnut tree that we had taken down. So I just wanted to show you though that these back here, these lovely yellow flowers are our Rudbeckia hirta, or the native black-eyed Susans, and they did not stand up on their own this year. So next year I will be putting them in tomato cages. They're kind of flopping over. I've got these like really cool stands that are helping them support up right now, but even still they didn't fare well on their own. So just to consider that when planting these guys. They get a lot taller and a little bit more kind of leggy than the Rudbeckia fulgida goldstrum, which are over here. These ones look much more bushy. These are the non-natives. These are the cultivars. So that's probably why they were cultivated like that. They kind of do their own thing. They're also perennial, where these guys over here are biennial. So going to collect some seeds, make sure there's some in the ground here, and then we'll be doing some fall sowing and winter sowing in some pots as well, just so we can see what comes and potentially share with others as well. So most of my seedlings have found a home in the garden or with friends, etc. But here are some stragglers that need to be divided. They're looking a little crowded. But what we've got down here is some dense blazing star with a couple of volunteers of who knows what. This is apparently some sneezeweed. I am not confident that it is that, but I do have a bloom coming. So maybe we'll see some of those really unique yellow flowers popping out soon. Down here, we've got some Virginia mountain mint and some volunteers. And then over here is white turtle head. So I'll be getting that a home in the garden very soon. And then check this out. This pot was empty. I was supposed to have Pearly Everlasting. That did not show up, but a bunch of volunteers did. And this is Spotted Beebalm. And I grew this from seed in another pot. But then they're just tiny wee things. I'll take you to them in a minute. But this one is large and beautiful. And I don't know what's with the other ones, if it was just because this one made its own home here with just a few other volunteers or what. But either way, I'm super psyched that I just let this be. Like, this is the thing when it comes to finding volunteers in the garden, is that sometimes they're weeds and sometimes you don't want them. They might be invasive. Other times for me, I get a ton of goldenrod, like a ton. But then who knows, you might get something really special like this. So give it some time, let them bloom and see what you might discover. But this was not supposed to be in this pot. So whether it was a volunteer from something else or maybe from the other pots that I had sown these seeds, either way, this one's ginormous compared to the wee babies that I had in the other pot. So here's our Spotted Beebalm that I grew from seed from last year's fall sowing. So you can see the significant difference in size and shape and color and everything. It's so different than the other one that's kind of ginormous in the backyard. So who knows where that guy came from, but he's more than welcome. I'll be putting him in the garden before the end of the season for sure. So here's our little pot of great blue lobelia. So I think that's what these guys are over here. And then this, I think, is some of our goldenrod, which we have so much of it from the goldenrod that I let go to seed last year. So these guys will find a home before the end of the season in the garden, but for now, they will remain in their pot. Now, this pot was supposed to be golden Alexanders, and I've let everything kind of develop, and I swear I'm not seeing a single one. I think I've been told this might be chicory. I'm not sure. I think we've got some more goldenrod over here. Maybe here too. Something else over here. But I don't think I see any golden Alexander. So I don't think those fared too well after our fall sowing. But I'm going to try again this year. Here is our nodding onion that we did some fall sowing in last year and a whole bunch of volunteers. But they're going to need a home in the garden soon. These are our butterfly weed seedlings as well. They're doing pretty good. I planted a bunch in the garden. Some of them, I don't know if they got nibbled up or what. Some of them didn't survive, but we've got a few stragglers that are doing okay. This may or may not be a mace sedge. We will see. Who knows what this guy is? Nobody. And then down here, this is our false beard tongue with maybe some other things. We will see. This is the other I think maybe chicory that I've got. This was supposed to be false sunflower, but I don't think that's what this is at all. And then down here, we've got some of our redbud. We've got a spice bush. We've got a cranberry here with the smaller leaves. And then this is a What do you think you are? Oh, smooth rose. And then this is an Ohio spiderwort. So a bunch of new plants. Most of these are from Ontario native plants from our recent order, which I did a little unboxing video of. So very excited to get these guys in the garden very soon as well. And this is not on a native plant. This is on our celery, but I did want to show you our new little friend. This is, we'll call him Nibbles 2 or Nibbles 2.0. We've got a black swallowtail caterpillar here that is pretty big. I'm going to say he or she is maybe 2 inches long. So maybe ready to start finding a spot to make their chrysalis, and then probably going to overwinter here because it is pretty late in the season. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video interesting and helpful. What is your favorite kind of late summer blooming native plant? Maybe I can add it to my gardens. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more garden tours and gardening tips and all sorts of adventures just like this. Thanks again and happy gardening.